Welcome everybody to another Son of Krypton video. So I asked you guys, do you want to see more Krypton on this channel? Not only in a community section post, but also in a live stream yesterday. And also, to be honest, for my channel, which isn't a freaking Gotham video. My first video actually did pretty well for me, and I'm very happy to keep talking about it because this episode was pretty good. But also, I want to include a bit of the community, which I did last time. You guys seem to really like that, so I will continue doing so. I put this poll out for you guys to answer after last night's episode. I asked you guys on the community section of my YouTube channel, what did you think of Krypton episode 2? And I kind of gave a similar poll to last time. If you watched my first Krypton video, I wanted to know what you guys thought of episode 1 because that was my first impression video. But yes, the options I gave you guys were better than episode 1, it was just okay, and number 3, still not that great. So as of the time of making this video, 105 of you have voted, and the audience never lies, and the top result was that it was better than episode 1, with 44%, 23% still saying it was just okay, but the second to most popular vote was actually still not that great. But ultimately, out of the 105 people that voted, 44% said better than episode 1, and I have to agree. And that's because this episode, honestly, I felt like, just what as I predicted, the pilot, you know, you can't judge too much on the pilot because everything, you know, that's their first freaking stuff they record, and everything's getting set up, and you don't care too much about the characters because it's not like you can suddenly just link with a character like that and think, oh my god, you're my most caramelly momenty first CVP person ever I can possibly. But you know what I mean, you're not going to get all freaking caramel obsessed with people after one episode. I'm not saying after 2 episodes, but this did everything right that it should have done in the second episode through making me care more about Sego, giving more character development to Thingy, something Volta Zod or something. Oh, my brain. Every episode I record at the minute, it keeps frying. But also, just as a side note, in relation to the poll that I made at the beginning of this video, I told you about at the beginning of this video, King Ben says that it was better than episode 1. I think it was so much better than episode 1, it went in depth with the characters in the show. And as I've already just mentioned a second ago, that is what I also believe. I'm sorry guys, I should have posted the freaking poll immediately after the episode, or even before the episode, because then that way I would have got a lot more responses. But I'll do it next time, don't worry. So why do I ultimately think it's better than episode 1? Just because of what I've already said, the pilot can't really do too much to amaze you. I mean, there are some, you know, things in this world that do amaze you after one episode, but like, you can't expect that of everything. And I honestly said in my last video that Krypton seems like a TV show that is going to get better and better and better, just based off the premise of it, through, you know, things like Brainiac, the Fortress of Solitude, you know, Val-El mentoring Sego even more and more throughout the season, which we got the beginnings of in this episode. The room for Easter eggs, the room for possibly going to Earth, the room for everything, because in the past, but then you've got Adam Strange from the future. There's so many things that they can do with this show. That's the cool thing about prequel shows. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Gotham because it's a Batman show about Batman, even though it is kind of a Batman show now, which is... But Krypton, I feel like people, and I'm guilty of this, were thinking that, you know, it's not really, it's not Superman. But I disagree with myself and those other people because it is proving, I know it's only 2 episodes, that it is getting very good. Now, I'm going to kind of just say my top favorite things and what I found in the episode to be really cool. Kind of a breakdown like that, my top moments. I'm sorry, again, I've been interrupted. It's like somebody out there is not wanting me to make this Krypton review / breakdown / video on Krypton, which is about the planet of Krypton. Now, number 10 or number 1, I don't know, this isn't really necessarily a top 10. I'm not really, you know, guys, I kind of wing a lot of these videos. But first of all, this is kind of something I just wanted to talk about anyway. Daron Vex. I just feel like he's so narrow-minded, and I know he's meant to be this kind of annoying arsehole on the council of Krypton. But yeah, I'm just kind of getting annoyed of him now. Obviously, Daron Vex, I believe, Daron Vex, I'm sorry if I'm saying the names wrong. It's kind of hard to remember with the apostrophe L's and Vex and Zods and stuff like that of this show. And some of you viewers who aren't so familiar with the Superman lore may be confused as to who I'm talking about. I'm talking about this guy who is on the council, and he's the one who sent Val-El to death. Val-El, the Superman, no, god damn it. It's happening already. I'm talking about Segel's grandfather. If you remember at the beginning, he was just a child. He got sent to his death because he was warning Krypton about the freaking Brainiac that was coming Brainiac himself coming to devour their world, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he's meant to be the annoying person of this season, making, well, not only, like, ignoring the threat of Brainiac, where it's just like, why wouldn't you listen to that, you stupid moron? But yes, as well, obviously, in the first episode, he was annoying. Now, in the second episode, he also wanted Segel to take, I think it might have been in the first episode, I can't remember, but anyway, to take up his family coat of arms, in their house, and just other things, and it's just like he's, and also the voice of Rao is freaking corrupt as well. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about in this video, is that we are learning more and more that the Council of Krypton are just, I tweeted out as well, just saying that you can really see why this planet got blown up, because Krypton's hierarchy really does seem like a stubborn bunch of assholes who just don't really help themselves. And I feel like that's been in a lot or most versions of Krypton's society. I mean, you get obviously like good people from Krypton, but the people who are in power are like a lot of corrupt politicians. And I know that's kind of normal, but still. But anyway, back to Darren Vex. I did enjoy him as much as I find him stupidly annoying. Like, how is he even there in that position? But I guess, you know, corruption and all that at the same time. Maybe he's delusional in his way of thinking. Who knows? But anyway, I like his interaction with Segel. He was talking about why his grandfather was basically sent to death, and why how they even used to be great friends and stuff like that. I just feel like it's going to be interesting seeing this guy get taken down and really taken off his high horse, because that is just, you know, whatever freaking horse they have on Krypton, because he needs to be taken off it. But enough bitching about Darren Vex. I just want to note his daughter as well. I thought it was sweet when Segel got the ashes. I thought that was a really cool way, you know, it's like an ashes into glass thingy, but like a Krypton version. But and then it turns out she is, you know, I thought like, okay, you kind of bonded, you know, an arranged marriage to someone you don't really want to do. You know, that was the wrong choice of words. But ultimately, I thought, like, you know, I feel sorry for Segel, but she actually seems like a nice girl. But and then she's whispering in her daddy's ear later. It's just like, oh, he trusts me. So it looks like the whole freaking bloodline of Vexes are just freaking morons. But either way, I know I'm kind of bitching about this, but it's also a good thing. I kind of find this interesting, and normally, sometimes I wouldn't, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of this annoying Vex family, just because they are going to be a thorn in the whole side of Segel throughout this whole season. I mean, I guess that's the whole premise. You know, he's got the Fortress of Solitude. He's going to keep going back there, keep trying to prevent Superman from getting erased from existence, keep trying to protect Krypton from Brainiac coming. And, you know, I guess, you know, he's not going to be allowed to do that if they've got anything to do with it. But let's talk about other things I really, really liked in this. If you watched my first impression video, you will know that I'm a really, 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 really big fan of Adam Strange on this show. Now, I was saying with his character, we have got so much room for Easter eggs, and I feel like, and I was saying I was looking forward to also other things that we'd learn about him. Would he get his kind of comic book costume and things like that? And in this episode, we learned that Adam Strange dropped quite a few hints saying, you know, I'm a big deal where I come from, or, you know, at least the time he comes from, because he can actually travel throughout freaking the space-time freaking continuum, basically. Like, that's, I mean, he's from the future after all, and he's come back to 200 years prior to Krypton. We learned that Kal-El himself is actually sent Adam Strange. We learned quite a few things like that. Either way, I think Sean Sipos, I believe he's called, is a good actor for him. I also, not that I freaking am promoting smoking or anything, but I also like seeing the earthy side to him on Krypton. Like, I'm not saying they don't have cigarettes or whatever tobacco-y kind of stuff on Krypton. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're a much cleaner, you know, civilization than what we are here on Earth. But it was just cool, you know, seeing him with his hat on, his Earth clothes still, and, you know, he just had that cigarette out of his mouth. It just reminded me of Constantine a bit. And I was just wondering if they were thinking, like, what is this? This guy is so weird. But, you know, he obviously is an outsider who's trying to remain a bit undercover. But he makes the show so much more interesting. I know some people on my first impression video were like, you know, I feel like there's a lot going on, especially with that time-traveling character. But for me, he's the thing that actually provides that insanely important plot alongside Brainiac's inevitable coming and confrontation of Krypton. Just other things in the episode where he had to give away his hat and his watch, and I just thought, like, isn't that kind of dodgy? I mean, I know Krypton have superior technology, you know, with crystally Superman, House of L logos and things like that, but now they have like an Earth watch that is just out there somewhere, like on Krypton, and that watch technically hasn't even been invented yet in this timeline if you go all the way to it. You know what I mean? I just find things like that interesting. Could that create its own kind of, I don't know, like on Legends where they create an anachronism or something like that through the Atom suit, a part of the Atom suit getting, you know, lost or back in time. You know what I mean? I'm sure a watch won't provide technological significance in the Krypton society, but still. But right towards the end of the episode, yes, I'm kind of doing this out of chronological episode order, we learned that basically Brainiac is already here. You know, he's devouring worlds out there, but what he does first is he sends these kind of, they don't have a name yet in the show, like, I mean, I'm sure there is a comic book name for these things. Now, honestly, my comic book terminology could be wrong, whether they're nanobots or not, it doesn't really matter. They're a part of his freaking world-destroying ship, and they're obviously meant to scout out for like civilizations that he can take basically as a trophy on his ship. And after, during in the episode, they were, you know, they showed Segel managed to get the thing that detects the long-range sensors of, you know, picking up things and whatnot, and there was nothing there. He obviously rage quit. Freaking Adam Strange was like, no, but I'm telling the truth. And then they went on a little archaeology trip, and I really like the relationship between Adam Strange and Kem, was it? I think it's Kem, the guy from the bar who owns the bar. That was all funny, and, you know, just the comedic moments where it's like, yeah, that's, here we call those rocks or something. Either way, they found a piece of it, and this basically proves that Brainiac is a lot closer than what they thought, and everyone should be like, holy effing shite, we are freaking absolutely screwed. There's nothing more to say than we're screwed, to be honest. Just other things in the show as well that I just really like. You know, I'm going on about the production again, but even when, you know, Segel figured out they had to use the House of El Blood to unlock the projection of Velo, his grandfather, that was a really cool moment. I like, this is what I like. I know his grandfather was obviously a lot more, you know, discovering, because he was like in the science guild, and, you know, he had this technology that even a lot of Krypton didn't have. He figured it out. I really like, and I've always liked this about Superman's story, you know, the projection, whether that projections of like Zor-El or anything like that. They're like, I love how they have the memories, and they are, for all intents and purposes, that person, just not with the most recent update of death. It kind of reminds me of Altered Carbon with the freaking things, you know, the freaking stacks in their neck. And ultimately, it's going to be kind of that Zor-El Kal-El relationship, but with Val-El and Segel in Krypton Season 1. I absolutely love Val-El's explanation of how he invented this technology to go into the Phantom Zone, which is obviously this different interdimensional plane of existence-y kind of area, and you should know it from just Superman anyway. Lots of things get sent into the Phantom Zone and blah, 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 blah. But Val-El was really this really revolutionary character, or, you know, member of Krypton, who obviously stupidly got sent to his death. The Phantom Zone that he discovered through his technology allowed him to travel to different sides of the universe and find galaxies with intelligent life. This could include Earth and stuff like that. Basically, you know, different places. But then he realized, and he also saw, like, you know, basically from his godlike cloud on the Phantom Zone, like, oh, there's also this dick called Brainiac going around eating them all up. Shit, we should be worried. Shit, I'm gonna warn my homeworld. Oh, they want to kill me for it. Yep, that's very Krypton. Either way, I'm really looking forward to what this has now begun, you know, with Segel meeting his grandfather's projection. This is going to start basically a domino effect, I think. Hopefully we'll see things even like the Phantom Zone. We might use the Phantom Zone to spy on Brainiac. Who knows? The theories are endless. But this is what I mean about this episode. Episode 2 already, and I'm starting to care about the characters, which I really didn't feel connected to at all, but I didn't blame it at all, because it was only episode 1. Lyta Zod being that character, I'm really starting to care about her storyline. In this episode, I really like how she felt like she wanted to claim leadership, but as to ancient rituals, you have to fight to the death. She successfully did that, and, you know, the guy asked for mercy in the end, and it was the whole thing back from episode 1, where, you know, we learned that, you know, we don't show mercy. But yeah, she literally snapped his neck, and that was just, it was so cool, and I like that. That fight was done very well as well, you know, the choreography, awesome. Looking forward to see where Lyta Zod's character goes as well. I know it's going to be interesting, especially as, you know, her and Segel have this kind of relationship-y thing going on, which is very interesting within itself, because, you know, the House of El and the House of Zod. And talking about Easter eggs earlier, we got like this explanation of the Green Death from Val-El himself, saying that, I think, if I recall correctly, that he said they're, you know, ancestors, not necessarily ancestors, but previous members of the family of El found a cure for the Green Death, and I just knew that was about kryptonite. You know, and traditionally in the comics, it's normally Zor-El, or just, you know, the whole kryptonite coming to an explosive end because of the planet's core, you know, growing radiation through kryptonite, and they're kind of skipping over that, I feel, already, because that would obviously be a problem, since this show is just set 200 years before the planet's demise. I guess they want to kind of put that to the side a bit and not let that be the main reason as to why it could go straight away. But ultimately, everybody who is watching this video right now, I think the audience never really lies. And most of the votes, and well, the popular votes, 43% right now as I'm checking the poll, was better than episode 1, and I completely agree. It was better than episode 1 because it developed and really, you know, stacked nicely on top of episode 1, rather than just being an episode that was completely different and you're just like, okay, I'm still not connecting to this show, which it really could have been. They could have tried too hard, but it just complemented it, and that is exactly what Krypton needed to do, and it did it. So it has still got my interest, and I'm looking forward to episode 3. But that is it, everybody. Let me know what you thought of episode 2 of Krypton. Okay, I know that meme's getting a bit old, but I can't help myself. But yeah, seriously, let me know what you thought. Let me know all your theories of what you might think will happen in coming episodes. Let me know what you think of Brainiac already technically being here with his scouts, or at least that it's probably got his attention now, that the scout probably sent information back, just like, oh my god, there's the whole civilization here of Kryptonians and Brainiac. You should definitely come and take this and put it in a little bubble in your ship. I would love to know your thoughts. I read every single comment. I can't always reply to all of them, but I do read every single one of them. So post your comments in the comment section down below. But other than that, everybody, obviously this is the end of the video. So I am going to plug that you can follow me on social media. The links will be popping up on the screen around here. I am most active on Twitter. Why not follow me on there? It's very easy to do. Other than that, I just want to say thank you to my patrons. I love all of you. If you are interested in becoming a patron yourself, go over to my Patreon page. I believe it is the top link in the description if I'm remembering correctly right now. You might like some of the tiers. I think there's some pretty awesome tiers. Do not feel obligated to go over and check the tiers out, but, you know, or even pledge to a tier, but check them out and you might get some cool rewards if you do decide to pledge. And the support for the channel is seriously appreciated, and it allows me to make a lot more videos like this more often. Do consider joining my Discord channel as well, because it is a whole community of the Boba family where we don't just talk about Krypton, we talk about all the other shows and even the DCU, the Marvel, everything comic book nerdy. We have a channel for it, so why not join and come and talk with me there. Other than that, guys, I think that is everything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.